Welcome. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how we can configure a MariaDB Galera cluster. Okay, now we will first configure the MariaDB cluster portion. We have already done the standard MySQL server portion. In this lesson, I will do the cluster portion. We will create the configuration file for the cluster on all the nodes, but only on the node 1. We will what they call this bootstrap the cluster. Bootstrapping cluster really mean starting a MySQL service only on the node 1. What will happen in this case, it is actually a wrapper. We will use a utility called Galera new cluster. This utility is only available in the MariaDB server case. Okay, it is not available for the other distributions. Okay, so this is really a wrapper. What it will do, it will actually start a MySQL service. In this case, it will be a MariaDB service, and it will not go through this group communication. It will not try to reach to the other nodes. This is what the bootstrapping mean. This will only tell the current node that just start MySQL, even though you are part of the cluster, just start your MySQL cluster only on this node. Okay, and once we do that, then on the other two nodes we will start MySQL as regular. Bootstrapping is only done on the first node of the cluster, regardless of which cluster you are installing. Not only MySQL, any cluster you install on Linux, bootstrapping mean starting only on a one node, and you can pick any of the node. Normally, general practices, we pick node 1, and then we will verify. So let's go ahead in this lesson. Let me go ahead and try to do bootstrap, and then we may add the second node in the next lesson. So let's go ahead and first stop the service and stop the service on all the cluster nodes. Okay, stop the service and just pick node 1 and go ahead and create cluster.cnf file on the location where we have other files, right, for the MySQL also, and go ahead and add this one. Let me Control C, explain you what is really doing. These are all the components, parameters, variables, what options you call them. These are required to set up a Galera cluster. And these are, you want to have a right set replication on, and this is the location of the Galera folder that I was talking about earlier. Whatever name you want, I just name it MariaDB cluster. And how many nodes are involved in this cluster? MCN1 and 2 and 3. And for now we are using the SST snapshot method rsync like we use in the Galera cluster for MySQL. And what is the private node of this one? The private IP address. This is the private IP address of my node 1. Okay, and the name is MCN1. You will change this according to your VM private IP address. Let's go ahead and save that, and let's try to do bootstrap. We have not touched other nodes yet, right? We have not touched other node. Why? Because in the group communication, bootstrapping will not go. We do not have any file there. Let me show you. We don't have anything there. We have no, sorry, Control A, ls. We don't have cluster.cnf at this moment because we only bootstrap the first node. We can even log in there and we can say show status like ws rep cluster and everything to that. You can see that the cluster weight is 1, the size is 1. Okay, and this is the primary. Okay, this is the primary node, and this is what we have, we call this bootstrapping node 1. Now we can go ahead and do just a normal start on the other two nodes. Okay, and now we verified that at least we have a one node Galera cluster. MariaDB, it is the distribution MariaDB Galera cluster on node 1 we have. Now let's go ahead and stop the video here, and I will do exactly the same process, and I will create the cluster file on the other two nodes, and we will try to start there, and this will be like adding a new node into the existing cluster. And for that I will actually show you on other two nodes and only on one node. For that I will see you in the next lesson.